So welcome everybody to the webinar for semi-annual dues preparation and end of year preparation. The screen you see is our home screen of the Lion Portal, and I am logged in as a club secretary. You will notice some funny names and things because we will not be sharing any real data. This is in our test system. So we will be going through and hopefully everything is working just fine in our test system. It is not live, and we'll be able to get through this webinar pretty quickly. So Carol Example, who I am logged in as, is a club secretary. So one of the things we want to do when we're preparing for semi-annual dues is making sure that the membership information is up to date and current. The way to do that is to make sure you don't wait till the end of the year. Don't, it's best to kind of get in there, get everything done. The earlier, the better. If everybody is flooding the system and trying to get everything at the very, very end, it does cause some problems, but also you don't want to have any chances where you can't get your members updated, because if you pass into January, and you backdate into the 6 months, you will still not be credited for any changes that you might do, such as dropping members or adding members. So make sure that you get your stuff done as early as you can and try to not wait till the end of the month. And that goes for everything in the Lion Portal, even service activities, memberships, office. You can do all of your transactions at any time. So just a suggestion as we move into checking the roster. So we're going to go ahead into My Club for the secretary. And the first thing we want to take a look at is the member roster. And there's several areas that will be available for you to do that. Down here underneath the buttons, there is a club members. And you can see the members here. And if you select view all, it will open up the list of your members a little bit wider so that you can see a better view. The system seems to be running a little slow today. Again, I am in our test system, so hopefully this will start to move a little quicker. In the Chicago area here, it is very bitterly cold. So I don't know. I don't think that has anything to do with it, but that's how I feel today too. So here we go. We have 5 members showing, and it's just some basic information. So if you're interested in checking any specific person and their data in your club, you can go into the membership record. Now, notice their member ID is in the first column, and that's their member ID associated with the person. To the far right is their membership ID. This is a system-generated number. It is not their member ID as it relates to how we reference the member ID. It's a little confusing, but it's a system-generated term that we cannot undo. So it pulls forward like this. But if we click into this membership record, we're going to go a little deeper into the member. And the membership record just gives a couple of interesting pieces of information we might be interested in to check the join date or anything like that, the name, their membership status, and all that kind of good stuff. To get to the full details of this person, notice that there is a contact record up here. And if I click into Alan Example's name, it will bring me in one step deeper into their contact record. And this is the record that has the details about Alan. So if we scroll down, we'll be able to see the birth date, any spouse or gender information, occupation, address, email, phone numbers, their memberships. So some good information here about the member. But if we just are checking records in general for everybody, and we don't really need to look at one particular person, we can stay on the club screen. Now notice I'm using the back arrow to get there. There's several ways to get to the club screen, and you're going to see that as I move through the webinar. But the other option you have is the Data Export tab. If you click on Data Export, you can get the details all in one place, and you can export it into a nice Excel sheet. Now I'm going to attempt to do this here in pre-prod, and I say attempt because it is the test system. And as I was preparing for this webinar last week, there were some glitches that I hope are resolved here in the back end. So let's go ahead and let the report load, which it looks like it's doing just fine. Great. And here is, again, the list of your members, your 5 members. Now, this detail is extensive. It goes all the way to the right. You can scroll, you can see the address, you can see the contact information again. You can see, let's see, let's keep going. I believe that the details are at the other, there we go. So you got the birth date, the gender, the occupation, the join date, spouse information, and if there's a club branch, if they belong to it. So here's all of the information about the individual. So if you'd like to export this and use it in an Excel, let's say you have a large group of members in your club, you can certainly export it. We're going to just really quickly export. I like to do the XLSX, Excel format. I'm going to export. And then notice it opens right on your computer. I'm going to open that file and show you that you can now manipulate the Excel document to what works for you. So if there's any, you know, columns you don't need, you can, start to format this any way you want. You get all of the information on all of the individuals. Okay. All right. So that is the using the data export to get your membership information all in one place. I'm going to close this report detail. And the other thing you have is you have the old MyLCI reports. If you were a club officer in MyLCI, you are familiar with some reports that are automatically generated for you. You would need to go to the Club Actions tab over here to the right. It's taking a little while to load, so we'll let it load. I will blame the single digit. No, just kidding. Temperatures outside. And once it loads, you'll see one of the buttons is View Reports. So we're going to go ahead and select View Reports. And now you'll see a list of all the MyLCI reports that we used to render over there in our old system. It doesn't come up in a really large way. We will be looking at ways to improve the views here, but you can see there's a club roster. There's a club roster of membership data. We'll go ahead and open one of these, and hopefully it'll work today. Notice there's an Excel format option there as well. Make sure you select that before you submit it so that it can open up in a bigger, in an Excel format, which is probably the best way to use these reports since they're so small on the screen for right now. But you can go ahead and scroll and look at your membership data this way as well. Okay, so there's a lot of options to get your membership information reviewed and ready for the end of the year. Now, as a club secretary, maybe there is some changes that you'll need to make on some members. Now, I'm not going to go through all of the transactions start to finish because we have training videos and webinars specific for those member transactions, but I will go into the Manage Club Members button, which is where you would go to add a new member, edit a member, reinstate transfer a member, and drop a member. Now, keep in mind, I said earlier to avoid waiting till the very end of the month. When you do that, you run the risk of not making the information in before the end of the year. And if you don't, and it gets into January or at the end of the fiscal year, you're in July, for whatever reason, you can backdate your transactions, but you cannot get credit for them. So it's really important to make sure that you do these as soon as you're ready to and try not to wait till the end of the month. Now, a new member versus a transfer member, I believe the difference there is the entrance fee, right? So a new member has a $35 entrance fee, I believe, um, and transfers do not, I believe. So I I hope to have a couple of members on the webinar, staff members who are going to help me answer some of these questions about the rules around fees and dues if you have them, but I will let you know some of the notes that I've taken along the way. We also want to make sure you understand the difference between adding a new member and reinstating and transferring. Whenever you add a new member, and I'll just go ahead and go in one step, you'll notice that the system asks you for 4 key pieces of information, and then it says search. First name, last name, date of birth, and gender are pretty specific and unique to individuals. So if you put 4 pieces of information in search and it finds somebody, please make sure you look at who renders. It will give you a list to say, hey, we found somebody that matches this criteria. Do you want to select this person? And I highly recommend that you do because we really want to avoid duplicate memberships. So keep that in mind as you are working your memberships. Backdating is allowed, but as I said, if it's done in January, it's going to count for the date that it's done, not the effective date or the back date of when you did it. That holds true for drop members as well. We do not credit back um, in the previous 6 months. So make sure that you get those drop members in and try to avoid the end of month rush. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close out of here. And I'm going to go to club statements. So toward the end of the year, we want to take a look at the statements, make sure everything is balanced and up to date. Now, a club secretary can only view. I will be logging in as a club treasurer in a minute and show you how the treasurers can pay. We'll go ahead and let the system take a minute to load. And these statements should also look familiar if you've been an officer in the past. What we did, we're pulling forward the very statements that generated in our old system. So all of this should look very familiar to you. At the top, you can opt in and out of paper statements. The idea here is to begin thinking ahead and trying to help the planet as well as save costs. So if you opt out of paper statements, it's very helpful. And the Lion portal allows for you guys to go on in and see everything current, up to date, at the moment that it's happening. So we really, really encourage you to go into your statements here, get familiar with them, and start using the system to, check your invoices and statements and pay the balances. So here's the statement. Now, this was an example club. You're going to see there's no statements and invoices down below, but this would start to generate data. Notice there's years that you can switch from. I don't have any here. I just created this test club for this webinar. So we don't have activity, but you would start to see the monthly invoices down here. There would be PDFs available to open and view down here as well. In this case, We do have a statement balance that I can open. And you'll see that the statement would render right here on the screen. You can use all of the, options like printing this if you need to, and, see what the balance is and also any kind of month to date transactions. Again, all of this is fully carried over from MyLCI, so it should look very familiar. Now, if you'll just give me one moment, I will be going in as a treasurer. And I'm just going to swap this person out. All right. Sorry, its system is a little slow today. So I'm over here on the other screen. I'm going to pull over this guy. Let me make sure that I close out the other person just to make sure there's no conflict in what we're seeing. So now we have Edward example, and he is the club treasurer. So we're going to go ahead back into the club. All right. And once here, as a club treasurer, you'll notice that the actions are different now because the club treasurer really can only just pay, right? They can look around and pay. So we're going to go to the club statement, and we're going to show you the pay buttons. So he sees everything that Carol saw, and in addition, a pay with PayPal and a pay now button. So a couple of things to note. PayPal is available based on the country. If your country has PayPal as an option, you are able to use this. You just type in the amount here and select PayPal checkout. I'm not going to do that because at this point, the system will, ask for a login. You have to have a PayPal account and all that kind of stuff, and then you would go through that process. But it's pretty basic, and the balances would be carried forward here, so you know how much you're typing in if you're trying to pay the full balance, and you could move on and pay that way. The Pay Now button allows payment by e-check or credit card. Now, again, it looks similar. You would put in the payment amount that you want to pay, um, and you would say pay now. I don't think I'm able to do that either here in the test system, but I will say this, that an e-check, it would ask you to select between an e-check and a credit card. And if you chose by e-check, it's only available in the constitutional area of the United States and its affiliates. Credit card, however, is available worldwide. Okay. I am going to go back in as the secretary. So again, I'm going to ask for your patience as I start to go back in. Okay, so I'm going to get Carol back here. And yeah, it's taking a while. Close out Edward, and let's hope that this comes back. Here we go. All right. So we're back in as Carol. And the reason we did this was because I want to talk about one of the things we prepare for semi-annual dues or end of year. I believe we start to talk about adding or managing delegates. So what I did was, as a district governor, an example district governor, I created a convention, and we're going to go ahead and assign delegate to that convention. So I'm going to go ahead into my club. And in the club actions, actually, it's right here on the member actions, you'll see manage delegates. So I'm going to go ahead and click on manage delegates. And we're going to see the screen that opens up. And notice that I have some selections here. I've got district type, I've got multiple district type, and I have international convention. So depending on the convention I'm looking for, I would select that. I can also look at past, upcoming, and even show any conventions that have been voided. In this case, I'm going to go into this example convention. And what the system does is it gives me information about this convention. Notice that it gives me how many delegates are allowed from my club to be assigned, and that I have not assigned any yet. I also can see that my club's been in good standing, or the club should be in good standing, uh, since January 1st, 2024 in order to vote, and that the number of eligible members based on members active during July 1st, 2024, and then voting good standing and all that kind of good stuff. So this is kind of cool information. And if you want to assign the delegate and you're ready to do so, you can go ahead and click next and pick your delegate. Right? Now, if you had a long list of people, let's say you have a very hefty club of members, you can also search. Anytime you see a search list, you can go ahead and type the name of the person in and it'll find it for you directly. Okay, I'm going to click next. And I hope this works because I did not assign a delegate because I wanted to do it here on today's call. So success, delegate Brett has been assigned. And then down here, would you like to manage more delegates? Of course, I cannot. So if I did say yes, it would let me know that, but I'm going to say no because I know that. And I'm going to click next. So that means that I've assigned a delegate. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to log in as a district governor, and I'm going to go and print the certified list. Now, again, I just assigned this person. I'm not really sure if the system will have synced everything up by the time I get over there, but we'll take a peek and show you how to do it anyway, right? But before I leave as the club secretary, I also could go into club actions and with the same disclaimer, get the delegate confirmation letter. I'm not quite sure if it's going to have the person or not, but we'll take a peek and see if, oh, it does, Brett. There we go. I'm going to click next. And here we go. So once you have your print or your club delegate confirmation letter, you can go ahead and print it. Okay. All right. I am going to go in as the DG. So give me a moment as I prepare. I think, here we go. Okay, one step at a time. All right. Here, and I'll close out that guy. So now I'm going in as Debbie example. And Debbie example is our district governor for this area. So if I were to need to print the certified list, I would need to go to the district. Now, I told you before, there's several ways to get to where I need to go. Some when I got to go to my district, I can, if I'm my highest level is district governor or a district position, I can always go to my CA and get to my district. It's a few clicks, but I can get there. I can click my CA and then I can click my officer positions or titles or assignments, however you want to say it, right here. And this will list out my titles and allow me to see a link to my district. I'm going to let this load. Sometimes this one takes a little bit. So let's, hopefully it won't take too long, but I know the system is running very slow today. And this is usually a little bit of a longer list to load, regardless of how many titles. So, so if it doesn't load here in just a second, I'll go ahead and show you the other ways, but this should render soon where I could show you. The other thing you can do is you could just type in your district name at the top and then select and go in that way. And I'm going to show you one other way. This doesn't load. I don't think it's gonna. All right, I'm going to go through my club and find the district name link and click to my district that way. So there's 3 ways to get to your district. And on the club details, there is a little district link here. So you can just click on that and you can get to your district page. Okay. And on the My CA page, I believe, I'm going to hop over there real quick because I can come back pretty quickly. Notice that you also have a certified list over here as well. Okay. So there's lots of ways. It's just this isn't loading. That's the only problem. But we're in test. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay here since I'm here and just print the certified list. All right. With all that being said, here's my example convention. And I want to print the certified list, or I can download the certified list with the delegates listed. I can try that. I don't know if our person will show up, but I'll go ahead and just run it now as a PDF and we'll take a look. And again, I believe this was an old MyLCI list, so it's going to render in the same kind of way. Close that. So again, very small, but this would be the certified list. And again, there's nothing here, but you get the idea and where to go and how to do it. Okay, and this is still loading. So we're going to go ahead and stop here. We're going to go ahead and take some questions. So let me stop my share. And I am going to, let's see. Go. I see a couple of hands raised. So let me, hi. So I'm going to start taking some questions. I see Corrado has a question. So if you would like to unmute yourself, please go
Yes,
for it.
yes.
Hi,
Can you
how are
hear
you?
me?
I can
Hello.
hear you. Yes.
Um, I'm speaking from Europe, and
Okay.
you have showed how a club treasurer can pay directly with a credit card or PayPal. Can he pay in his local currency? I mean, for example, in euro. And if so, what is the exchange rate?
Oh, that is a good question. I am not sure. I don't see, I want to see if, let me check the chat and see if Melinda is on. So bear with me. Hold on one second. If I can't get that answer to you right now, I will find the answer and let you know.
Okay.
But it's a good question. My expectation would be that it would be able to be in your currency, but I don't know. I actually don't know the answer. Sorry.
Okay, no
But I
problem.
did just text our accounting manager who I thought was with us on the call, but I don't see her. Let me just check. No, I don't see her. Let me check someone else. Nope. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry, Corrado. I don't have
No,
the people on that I know could answer that question for you, but I'll get it for you. Okay.
okay,
All
okay,
right,
okay,
thanks. And I'm
no
gonna just
problem.
write your name down to make sure that I get it to you in one way or another. So give me 1 second. Okay. All right, Corrado, I will find you and I will get that information to you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Um, all right. I see Dr. Samir Rahman. Can you go ahead and ask your question? Can you unmute?
Yeah. Am I
There you,
audible?
you are good now. Yes.
Ma'am, my question is that you have gone through the teachings. I'm a club secretary in District 332D, India, Eastern part. So my question is that can I have that video recording in my email so that I can repeat it, repeatedly see and teach myself better?
Yeah, you can access this video via the YouTube channel. So let me get that link for you. Because if you have this link, and I'm putting it in the chat now, you are going to be able to see all of the training material, not just this one.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yes, bye-bye. Okay, now we will go to Sam Stewart. You are allowed to unmute. Sam, are you able to hear me? Can you unmute yourself?
Ma'am, it's the same person, myself.
Sam Stewart?
No, I'm not Sam Stone. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll put you back on mute. Sam, I should be able to hear you now. Are you there? Okay, we'll move to, oh, sorry, things are flipping, so I'm hitting wrong button sometimes. To Jinder, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, ma'am, I'm Tejinder Bamra from District 322D.
Mm-hmm.
This is MD 322 under India. Ma'am, you have shown about this adding new members, then transfer members. So, madam, can we transfer member from one club in a district to another club of the next different district, but under the same multiple district?
I I believe that you can, uh,
Yeah.
but but the member has to be dropped before you do so.
Oh,
But I believe it's transferring members are within the multiple district. But you know what? I will verify that and also get back to you on that, okay? And I will find you. Is this the name in the system that you go by?
yeah.
Okay. And what club did you say you're with or district?
Yeah, we have a club, Lions Club of Dibgoi,
Okay.
under District 322D.
District 322D. I will find you and I will send you that answer. Make sure I
Yeah,
get you
yeah.
the right one, okay?
Madam, should we have to drop it or we can straight away transfer when
No,
we...
you have to drop, the member has to be dropped in order to transfer over to a
Okay,
new
okay,
club.
madam.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's a
okay. Thank you,
requirement. So
madam.
the system will let
Thank
you
you,
know
madam.
that if you try. Yeah, no
Yeah,
problem.
thank
Thank
you.
you. Okay, Cigar Dharmalingam. I'm probably horrible at these names, but please, Shigar, you can unmute yourself. Can you hear me? Shigar. Okay. We'll move on to Gregory Pryor. You should be able to unmute yourself. Gregory?
Good morning, Elizabeth.
Hi, how are you?
I'm from Multiple District 27A1 in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the district administrator, and I've been working with the clubs, trying to help them get more familiar with the system.
Mm-hmm.
I had one club where the poor member was dropped 5 times.
Oh,
Actually, they showed him as deceased, and I had to run a deceased list for our convention, and his secretary told us he's alive and well. And when I went in and looked, in fact, he was. But once that deceased is on there, it still shows up in a report,
yeah,
even though he's
okay.
been reinstated. Is
Okay.
there a way to correct that?
That sounds to me like it's going to need some intervention. So I would have you call our support desk to get that resolved.
Okay.
I'm going to put here is the chat. I'm going to put in the email and also the phone number. And they have gotten pretty caught up since we've gone live. So you should be able to get to somebody relatively easily. So let me just give you the proper, there you go. That's the email and the phone number to call. Either one would work. And you're going to need somebody to help you out with that one, but I believe we can get it resolved. We would just have to do it, carefully on the back end.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem at all. Okay. I see Shigar, you
Yeah.
had your hand up again. Go for it.
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, sure. Good evening.
Yes.
Here from India. Good evening. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I
Yep.
have only 3 questions. I have 3 questions.
Okay.
First is regarding the payment by the treasurer in the portal of our portal page. Only credit cards are accepted, but not the debit cards. Through debit cards, we are unable to make the payment for the club dues.
Okay.
Kindly please make a note and in fact make a, because here more than credit cards, the debit cards are more in use in this part of the country.
I
India.
will make note of that and share that with our accounting team and our finance
Wonderful.
team here. Okay.
Wonderful.
I saw Melinda join. Hold on one moment. I think we might get some questions answered here. Hi, Melinda. Can you hear us?
Hi, I can. I am so sorry. I forgot that we had this morning. So
I
please accept
know.
my apologies for this, for being late. I looked and I said, oh my goodness, I would love to answer any
Hi,
questions
Melinda,
that you
how are
might
you?
have. Hi, how are you? How's it going today?
You may be remembering very well. I met you at the convention.
Oh,
I am
yes.
Shekhar 324L.
Yes. How are you today?
Okay, thank you. Good day. Okay,
Good
coming
day
to
to
the
you.
point. My first question you already been answered, that into a debit card should be added for the payment from this part of the country. Okay, instead of only the credit cards.
Melinda,
Right, that's over.
he had mentioned that we don't accept debit cards through the Pay Now. We only accept credit cards, not debit cards. So he
No.
had suggested that maybe we could add debit cards. So
We
I
do
said I would
accept
share
debit
that with you. We do?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm, we
Next
do.
one is whether administrator can also make the payment or only the treasurer can make the payment.
That's correct.
Only treasurer.
Only the treasurer right now can make the payments. That's correct.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Now,
Number 3.
Mhm.
Number 3. In fact, as it was in my LCI, we are unable to generate the club-wise members with address. Earlier it was there, but here you are in the club portal. You are giving active as well as inactive all the members in the past history also. We are unable to generate the current members in the list. Communication purpose and other things. Can you do anything for that, or can you suggest how to generate it?
Go ahead, Melinda. Go ahead.
No, so I'm just trying to understand the question. So you're asking, I know with a portal, it was intended that the secretary and president add the members correctly into the system, and that you do it independently. So we do have MSC to help, but go ahead, Liz, because I think you have a better answer.
Yeah, if I understood your question, the lists give both active and inactive members, and you're wondering if we
Yes.
can just get a list of active. And in the webinar, I did go through the data export feature, which would give you that information. So it's going to give you
Yes.
the active members, and that's the list you would want to
Exactly.
print. Yeah.
This is a require for creating the physical address lists of the active members. That is not
Yes.
possible. Previously, it was available in my LCA. Now this I badly need it. Kindly please do something for this. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you. Okay. Before I ask call on anybody else, Melinda, Corrado had a question about paying via, so he's in Europe and was asking when they go in to make a payment, can they pay in their currency? And if so, how does it get changed to USD, or how does that work?
So the only way that you can pay in your own currency is through PayPal. You have to have a PayPal account where you can pay in your local currency, and then that will settle in US dollars once it settles through PayPal. PayPal will then credit the account for Lions Clubs International. So that's the only way you can pay on the portal through your own currency. And that means that the PayPal account has to be acceptable in your country. So you would have to make sure that that is an acceptable payment option for you.
Thank you, Melinda. I appreciate that. The only other question that came in, it's really not an accounting question, and it's escaping me right now, but do you know for transfer members, if they can be transferred within a multiple district, or does it have to be within the district? Or I don't think we have restrictions on transfer members, do we? Other than that they have to
No.
be dropped. They
That's
can
correct.
be transferred. Okay, so great. So those are two that I wanted to make sure I had you help me with now that we got you on the phone. So,
Okay.
but we had just started with these, so I'm going to go ahead and call on Janera Miller. You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, good morning to everyone, or afternoon, wherever you are. I'm part of the Middle District 2X3 and a Temple Belton Lady Lions Club, and I am the secretary. My question, great lecture. My question is this based upon when we're updating the annual dues and the membership verification, is it based upon a lion year that we must have this done, or is it based upon a physical year? I can't hear.
Yeah, Melinda, we can't hear you.
Thank you. I'm sorry. The semi-annual dues billing is based on the membership that is available, that is recorded as of December 31st.
Okay.
And June 30th. And so whatever membership is available, we bill twice a year for every 6 months. And so whatever member is in that club as of those days, we bill for that, regardless of whether they've been there for a year, a day, or whatever. They're billed for 6 months going, because we bill going forward. We bill ahead, 6 months ahead. So
Okay.
it's wise to ensure that the roster is correct.
Mhm.
Should be corrected every month. You should look at the
Okay.
roster every month, and you should make sure that it's correct. But if at the very least, it should be reviewed on June 30th and December 31st. So let's face it, the portal is very busy, very active on those days. So you should probably plan to do it earlier than that to make sure that you can get your membership updated correctly.
Thanks,
Perfect.
Linda. That's
Okay,
the
thank you.
message I gave in the webinar as well. So thank you. And thank you, Janera. Was that it?
No, I have one more question.
Sure.
Understand we're doing a lot of innovative things with the portal. Is there any way to add our attendance roster, like for each meeting that we have, to include the attendance roster there? Because I understand that there will be a report generated where the district could look at our minutes from our meetings, but there's not an attendance roster area. Any recommendations?
I can jot that down and put that in something for future improvements, of course.
Yes.
We're always looking for things that will help our Lions. So that's one of the items that I can certainly put down on our list of items that would be helpful.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I see AP Haridas. You can unmute yourself.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As a club administrator, how do I access the information of my club branch?
As an administrator, you can just go into your club. And do you recall in the webinar where I pointed you to the member list on the bottom right of the screen? There's a couple of tabs there. There's actually the club members, there's the club officers, and then there's the sponsored clubs. A club
Sponsored
branch,
club.
yep, a club branch will be listed in the sponsored clubs.
The club branch name is not separately under the sponsor club.
Yes.
Okay.
You can go into the sponsor club from there. Or if you have a club, the club branch name, you can put it into that search bar and search that way as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. A
Thank
couple of
you.
ways to do it. You're welcome. Okay. I see, let's see. I think I accidentally hit somebody else. Gregory, do you have another question?
Yes, I do. It's in regards to membership reporting on the portal.
Okay.
If a club has no changes in membership, in the old system, we used to go in and just go in every month and just click on a tab that said no changes in membership. Now we don't have that. And then on the club health assessment that goes to the governor, it shows that the club hasn't done a membership report for X amount of months if they've had no changes. Is there any way to get around that, or should I just advise the club secretaries to just go in? Well, if they have no changes, it wouldn't matter. I mean,
It wouldn't matter. Yeah. No, Gregory, that is an excellent point, and we're aware that that is a conflict because there was a decision made when we when we launched the portal. Decision was made by well, multiple people. Obviously, not one person decides things, but the decision is that to actually go in and just trigger that there's been no changes. Really was antiquated and not necessarily needed anymore. I believe years ago there was some sort of recognition for that. So there is the habit of looking and, for that. Well, we didn't do anything this month, kind of a check mark. That was removed. And what didn't get removed was from the health assessment. So that is something that's being reviewed right now by the departments at headquarters to align those two things. Hopefully you'll see the update soon, but I would definitely communicate with your leaders that we do not require that anymore. And it is, even though it's on the health assessment, that just means there were no changes. It basically means there were no changes. So, yeah.
So we'll let the governor know to back off on the club
Please,
secretary.
yes. And if they have any questions at all, they can call our headquarters district and clubs department. They are working on that as we speak.
Okay. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you for the question. Appreciate it. All right. I am going to go to Ashok Moore. You are able to unmute. Oops, I think I might have clicked somebody else. Ashok, can you hear me? Okay, we'll move on to somebody.
Can you hear me?
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go for it.
Yeah. Myself, Lion Ashok Moore from Lions Club of Moran, District 322D. I have a question that when we are searching for the club detail regarding how much club he has sponsored by the clubs, there are only 2-3 clubs names are there. But whereas they have sponsored more than 10 to 12 clubs. But they are on the site when we are going to sponsors list there, how much club they have sponsored. They are only coming for maximum 2-4 clubs are coming. So there is
In those lists on the screen, when you're looking at your club details and you go to the sponsor list, you
Yeah.
can select view all and it will open it up into a larger list to see more.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thomas Reardon.
Good morning. I'm calling from New Brunswick, Canada. I'm a
Hi.
member of the Lions Club of Pokeshaw and Black Rock. It's a fairly new club, and our treasurer is keeping records manually with the old paper system. Surely there must be a Lions Club accounting software that could be used to keep proper and efficient records. Can you perhaps address that question? I'm not the treasurer, but the treasurer of our club is complaining about the workload with keeping paper records in her system. Do you have anything that you could recommend?
Well, I was a club treasurer a couple of times, and I always use Excel. You know, you can upload your membership roster, keep a record of who's paid, find out basically what is the pay rate after you've recognized how much you should bill for the district, how much LCI is going to bill, and then of course how much the club is going to bill. So once you figure that out, I generally believe, and I know everybody has their own practices, to get all of the payments all at one time instead of, partially throughout the year. Everybody has, the club should, whatever practice they have, go ahead and do that. But I believe that it's easier to collect the funds at the beginning of the year, and then you don't have to worry about the funds that are available to pay for the district dues once they come out, and then LCI dues.
Yes,
But
I'm not just concerned about district dues and other dues. I'm concerning about the day-to-day operations. And surely in today's modern age, with all of the technology that's available, a Lions Club should have some software package that could be used to do this efficiently and with minimal amount of technology experience and minimal amount of work. I mean, I use accounting software for business, and it's very simple to use. Surely something can be done for a Lions Club rather than rely on an old paper system and multiple entries and this sort of thing.
Yeah, we agree that having a lot of paper is not really the most efficient way. I'm glad you mentioned that, because Lions Clubs is getting away from sending out paper statements as well. Going online is a good way to recognize all of the membership and all of that. But yeah, we have not recommended any particular software package in particular.
Maybe this is something that you could consider looking into for future, because I know that our treasurer it finds it a bit of a challenge. I see someone here has mentioned QuickBooks. It's free or low cost for nonprofits. There's also an accounting online called Wave, WAVE, which is free for some users. And in my humble opinion, it would be advisable for someone at Lions to look at doing something to have easy, usable accounting records, not just for district dues, but for all of the club activities, fundraisers and payments out to charitable organizations and other things of that nature.
So,
Yeah, it's very important to keep up with that, because of course, we clubs are responsible for the specifically in the United States, they're responsible for submitting their records as far as their activities, year-end activities. So it is a good idea to keep up with it in some type of a software system. I've used QuickBooks before, and it is very simple.
So Thomas,
I see it noted on chat here that it's free for nonprofits. So maybe that's something we could look at.
I would say, yeah, we'll take note of that, Thomas. And, I would recommend continuing to review the items available to you. But we'll take note of it and see where that would take us. Okay.
I'm sure you appreciate it's very important to keep your accounting records up to date
Absolutely.
and current, because if you don't, you can get into a mess awfully quickly.
Absolutely. Totally agree. All right. We do need to move on to the next. We have tons of questions on this particular webinar, so we're going to get going. Thank you, Thomas, for that information. Priyam Kashyap, you are up if you'd like to speak. Can you unmute yourself?
Hi, this is Flying Priyam Polikashyap
Hello.
from 322D, India. My question is that, can I post the service report after an event in the Lions portal on behalf of my club, but still not a club secretary?
Yes. You can post it.
Okay.
If you're not an officer, you cannot report it to LCI, but you can help enter all of the information. But one of the club officers would need to make sure that they select the report box so that it goes to the
Okay.
reports. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, next I'm going to go to, looks like Murugan Mike.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Actually, in India, while adding a new member, we find it difficult to mention the name, whether it should be first name or last name. Mostly we make mistakes. Will we be able to correct it later online?
Yes. Yes, you can make corrections and edits anywhere where you might have made a mistake in spelling or first name, last name. You can go in and edit the member. And in the webinar, when I went into the Manage Member button, there was an option to edit that member.
And I have one more question also.
Sure.
Actually, I am unable to find my old credentials. I was a cabinet secretary. When I searched new website, I am unable to find that credential. Where do I find it?
So it should be in your membership record. You should have all of your titles listed. If there's one missing, a couple of things might have happened. If you were that particular position for a canceled area that maybe is not active anymore, we are working to get those showing as well. But if you do feel that it still should be showing and it's not there, you should call our support desk and they will be able to help you. You'll need some intervention on getting that corrected.
Because I have sent a mail, but I didn't receive any reply at all.
I would resend it. I know that our help desk is very active in responding, but there were some initial glitches when we first launched. I would make sure, just send another one just to make sure that they get it. They might not have seen your request.
Can you give me the mail ID?
Yes, I put it in the chat. Do you see it in the
Okay.
chat, or do you want me to do it again? Because I did put it in the chat. If you scroll in the chat, you'll find it.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to go to Sudha Murarka. I'm sorry, I'm probably not saying that right. Sudha, you can speak. Can you unmute yourself?
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
It's good evening in India.
Good
I'm from
evening.
District 322B1. I have one question. In absence of secretary and president, who can be able to report? The administrator can do that.
Yes.
But I am the administrator of the club.
Okay.
But in my portal, they are not allowing me to report the services. I don't know why.
Yeah, you should be able to. I would use the chat and contact our support service because somebody needs intervention there to give you permission to do so. I would reach out and get that fixed.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Okay, I have answered all of the people who've raised hands. So I will ask Eileen, who is on the call with us, to let me know if there's anything that came in the chat that has not been answered yet that you can see.
Hi, we have a lot of questions in here,
Okay.
and we'll kind of try to go through them quickly. Some of them may have been answered.
Okay, great.
Janera asked, are the semi-annual dues and membership verification based on the Lion year or fiscal year?
Melinda, I'm gonna assume you'll have that answer. Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry. Yes, it is based on the membership as of 6/30 and December 31st, regardless of how long the member has been in the club, because we bill forward. So once we bill in December, we're billing for January through June. And when we bill in December, we're billing for, in June, we're billing for July through December, and then December, we're billing for January through June. So we're billing forward. So it doesn't matter. So that's the semi-annual dues billing is billing, 6 months ahead.
Okay. Another one, Eileen?
How do we report no membership addition or deletion for every month as per the old report?
Yeah, that was answered already, so I
answered,
think we could move on.
And then we have this, I don't know if this was answered. I have to run a deceased members report, but not all deceased members show up.
Not sure why that is. I would contact support and get that answer. You might need some intervention to get some records resolved and fixed.
Let's see. Someone's asking if we can get the video in Hindi. I'm not sure if we're having things translated.
Yeah, the webinars are not translated. These are English only. So you'll need to go out to the YouTube channel to see the recording later. I'm not sure how you can, use it to maybe do your own voiceover or whatever, but I don't believe we're planning to get these translated. We are in the process of translating our training videos. So those should come soon, but these webinars that are a bit longer, I'm not really sure that that's been on the agenda.
We have a question. Can we transfer member from one district to another?
Yes.
Okay. How can we break the family unit and then recreate it, I think is what it sounds like. How can we break the family unit and again create family unit?
Yeah, so a family unit now is just another membership type. So what you want to do is you want to go into the Manage Member button, which is what I showed you. And during that process, you can add or edit a member. And if you go into edit a member and you want to make them a family member, you would go to the last screen, or you would go to select the edit and go to membership. And when it allows you to change it from regular to family or family to regular, whatever you need to do. Just keep in mind when you do that, family members are discounted, but every time that you select a family member as a membership type, it will ask you, do you want to waive the discount? And if you say yes to waiving it, you will not get the discounted rate. They will become basically a regular member who has voting rights. So that's the difference between selecting a family member and waiving the discount versus making them just a regular member. So not sure why you would break a family unit and return it. But if you're looking to change the membership type so that they have the ability to vote, they have to be a regular member for, I believe, a year and a day in order for voting rights to kick in.
Someone was asking if this will be recorded and posted, and yes, we will have it posted to the Facebook page and our Lions Portal YouTube
channel. And I did put the YouTube link in the chat as well.
Okay, great. This one had been answered. Should we report the no member change as we did earlier?
No, and that's been answered. So
Okay. In India, we follow the financial year basis for accounting. Okay, this one I think was answered. It's my understanding there's no longer a monthly membership report requirement.
that's correct. That's the same, yeah, as the no membership report.
why GST invoice raised in India is not uploaded in the statement nor invoice.
Melinda, are you familiar with that question? Can you repeat the question just to be sure we?
This was from Ashok. Why GST invoice raised in India is not uploaded in the statement nor the invoice?
Yeah, we are currently working on that. That means that the GST invoice for that club, they have to have reported their tax ID number. We only have very few. So the tax ID number has to be reported before the GST invoice is available. So at this time, I think we have 5. Once that is available, then we will, it may not be available in the portal, but it will be sent to you from the office in India. So the first answer is that the GST number, the tax ID number has to be reported in order to get the invoice.
Thank you.
Another question, why will the new portal let the secretary only go back 60 days for updating member information? The old portal would let us go back in and change birth dates, etc.
There's always been a 2-month backdate, so that has not changed. That is exactly what we allowed in MyLCI. What was the second part of that? There was something else. 60
they
days
can only
and then
60 days. The old portal would let us go back and change birth dates.
Birth dates. So with birth dates, you have one chance to change a birth date. Once you make that change, the system will not allow you to make it again. So all of that is exactly how MyLCI worked, the old system. So it is operating and should be operating like that. If you are finding something different, please contact the support desk so that they can check into that for you.
Quick question about how to add a member as an associate member. Does the club have any monetary costs associated with this type of membership?
Well, I think the headquarters has to do associate members, but Melinda, is there costs involved with that?
No, we do not. So once a member is approved to be an associate member, meaning that the member is in another club as a regular member, the office will then approve the associate member, and there is no cost to the club for that. Now, the district may bill for that, but the associate member is not billed for through LCI. It shouldn't be billed through the district.
Okay.
A small club in our district, but in a different zone, wants to join our club. How do we do that?
A small club wants to join another club. Is that what I heard you say?
A small club in our district, but a different zone wants to join our club. How do we do that?
I would, that's a local decision that needs to be made. I would reach out to the district governor to talk about how to merge those clubs, or, find out how they want to manage that.
And some people are putting some things in the chat about QuickBooks. I think there's some nice information in there.
All right, everyone who's interested, look at the chat for the QuickBooks information.
And then there was just a note from Antoinette regarding the deceased member report. The report will be inaccurate if the dates chosen overlap fiscal years. The dates must be within a fiscal year.
Okay.
And associate members are added by headquarters staff.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
I think we're down to the bottom there.
I do see that Mike Murugan has a question, so go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, this is Murugan from Lions Club of Technocity once again. Recently, you have given authority to the administrator to either add or remove member.
Yes.
What happens is, in some of the clubs, this administrators, without consulting the board, they themselves drop members, and they also drop and go out of the club. Can we take any legal action against them? Because without paying any dues, they drop themselves and go to the other club.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is a local situation. Anybody who is assigned as a club administrator does have the authority to add and drop members. But if it's being done in a
unethical manner.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have no controls of that. Like if somebody goes ahead and assigns somebody, then a club administrator, and they abuse that power, then I think that you would need to get with your district or your other leaders to try to intercept what's going on there.
Is there any chance to take action against them through international?
I think you would need to reach out to I would say our membership team or the district and clubs team at headquarters and find out if they can help you intercept with the situation.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Okay, I think we have answered all the questions. Did any other thing come in, Eileen, while we were talking?
No, I think people are just asking about the YouTube address, and I was trying
sure.
to find it in the chat.
Let me post it again. I will put it back into the chat before you all go. There you go. That is the YouTube channel. You are welcome to go ahead and go over there. I'm also going to put in the Facebook forum link. So if you are a Facebook user and you would like to go to the Lion Portal Facebook, you can go over there as well. It's a private group. You will need to be admitted. But if you would like to join, you could certainly join. There's a lot of great Lions helping lions out there in the Facebook forum. So feel free to go over there. I also post these webinars to the Facebook forum as well. Well, I want to thank you all for joining today. This was a very informative webinar for both me and I hope for you. Thank you, Melinda, for joining, and Antoinette. I saw you active in the chat, so thank you so much. Could not have done it without you guys. Much appreciated. And yeah, have a wonderful day or evening wherever you are in the world, and look forward to hopefully helping you out again in the future. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.